Hey everyone, welcome back to the Coach's Corner here on the NAIA Volley Report, powered by Win One. I'm your host, Danny Mesquita. Today we're joined by head coach Tom Young of the Missouri Baptist Spartans. Coach, thanks for joining me today. How are things out there in Missouri?
Yeah, thanks, Danny. Yeah, well, first, I definitely want to say, thank you for using, your platform to inform people about the NAI, the men's game, and you guys did a great job with the women's report in the fall. So yeah, it's just really great to see, you helping us get our word out about the game. And I'm excited to see, the where the NAI can go and, all the growth that we've had over the last couple of years. But yeah, Missouri, it's great. It's great. Here in St. Louis, where Missouri Baptist University is located, we're about 15 minutes west of downtown St. Louis. So yeah, we're in a really, really good part of town, and yeah, it's been nice. The weather's nice. These last couple of weeks have been a little warmer.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's going well.
pretty sweet deal. Y'all are right outside of St. Louis. And yeah, the weather has been definitely warmer. Being in the Midwest, everybody's kind of like, why is it so warm? But let's talk about you and your tenure at Missouri Baptist. You were named the third head coach in Missouri Baptist men's volleyball history. You're 7 seasons in. Seems like forever, but with your tenure there, you've marked at 162 wins and 42 losses overall. Your winning percentage is at a phenomenal almost 800. Coach, when you reflect on your 7 seasons at Missouri Baptist, what stands out the most to you on this journey?
Yeah, man, seven seasons. It still feels like it was yesterday, that I'm in that first season there. That I, began my journey here at MBU. But I think the saying "the time flies when you're having fun"
Yeah.
is really what's going on here. I think like we like to try to have a lot of fun when we're in the gym, when we're outside the gym, and I think that has really made those years go by fast. We want our student athletes, to have that fun. Yes, we want to develop them, into great students, great athletes, just great Christian people. But at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we're creating that great experience that they can have. And I think that goes to, yeah, just having fun, loving the game.
Being in the heart, there's a lot of people that talk about Missouri Baptist and the culture that's there, and it's very rich there, Coach. And year after year, you guys have been very, very consistent. Your first year there, you were 31-1 early on, and you've just been consistent after that. And I mean, in 2025, you were Heart Coach of the Year. What do you think is the biggest key to sustaining that level of success and in such a tough conference?
Oh, great question. Yeah, the Heart is a tough conference. Our whole school actually just transitioned to the Heart.
Yep.
For men's volleyball, we have also been in the Heart for about a handful of years, about 5 years. My first couple of years, we were in an unaffiliated grouping, which was our old conference with the AMC.
Hmm.
And we've seen definitely a uptick of the competition, which is great. The guys want to play great teams. But when we talk about kind of that consistency year in, year out, I think it's about recruiting. I think it's about having the right athletes, having those guys that want to work hard, those guys that want to be in the gym, the guys that want to study the game. I think a lot of our guys at Missouri Baptist have been those student athletes. And I think they're the reason for our success. It's just those guys, again, that just want to work hard, the guys that want to get better. And they're the reason we succeed.
No doubt. And coach, back in 2019, you had the AVCA Coach of the Year honors, alongside a Coach of the Year honors in the conference. But how has your coaching philosophy have changed since those early seasons, and how do you stay adaptable to the changes in men's volleyball that happens honestly pretty daily?
Yeah, that 2019 team, very special team, very talented team. Being recognized as Coach of the Year in your conference, and then at the national level is always a great thing, right? Um, but I like to think those Coach of the Year awards, they aren't just because of myself or the coaching staff. They're because our guys.
Hmm.
Um, and now as a coaching staff, we are leaders, right? As the head coach, I am a leader, and we must set, a good standard for the program. But again, at the end of the day, I think it's those player-led teams that kind of have been the best teams that we've had here at Missouri Baptist and a reason for a lot of our success.
No doubt, coach. And under your leadership, you've coached 18 NAI ABC All-Americans, multiple Conference Player of the Year awards, and you've had over 30 all-conference nods individually, coach. What's your approach to developing players, not only into high athletes, but, leaders within the program under the Missouri Baptists?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing looking at it is those hardworking guys, right? Like we were talking about, guys that want to build relationships with their teammates, guys that can communicate well, guys that really want to be those leaders. Um, I can tell you, Danny, it's really cool when we're in the gym and we see those guys that are great leaders.
Hmm.
Because knowing I know that they're going to be great coaches if they choose to be.
Hmm.
So it's really cool over the years to kind of see those guys grow. Um, I can tell you a quick story here. I was actually out recruiting at a juniors club tournament last weekend.
Hmm.
And it was cool to see some of those couple former players that are now coaching teams. I saw some guys that are now officiating some of those. I had some alums that are now officiating some of those junior club tournaments. So it's really cool just to kind of see those guys and see those guys grow.
No doubt, coach. And I mean, you've been there 7 seasons. Is there anybody that comes to mind when you talk about players wanting to build relationships and lead the program? Is there anybody that comes to mind?
Oh man, I'm glad you asked this one. Um, I would say I had a grad student last year. I'll give him the shout out, throw his name out there. Michael Olson. So yeah, he was a grad student for us last year. He's a St. Louis guy.
Okay.
Um, he came in 2021, and we had a pretty solid team that made a run at the national tournament. Um, so as a freshman, he didn't get a lot of playing time.
Hmm.
A lot of talent on that team. So yeah, he would practice on that varsity squad. He'd get some matches in on the JV squad. But once we got to his 6 dates, well, we decided to redshirt him because we definitely saw a good future for him. You get to the sophomore year, plays a little bit more. It was probably every week, man, almost daily, that Mike would come in and ask, "Hey, coach, what can I get better at?"
Hmm.
So we would just kind of talk about those things, and he would work on those things all the time. He was just a gym rat. If you get in the gym and you become a better server or passer, if you get your vertical up here, if we can, study the game more, all that kind of stuff. He would work on all those things, and he just kept getting better, better, and better. By the time he was a junior, he got a little bit more of opportunity on the court. And then we look at that senior year, he was a starter, and then his grad year was this last year, and he was first team all conference. He was the captain of our team. He was the conference player of the year. And then he was an AVCA and NAI All-American. So he's just a great example. So again, I'm glad you asked that. He's just a great example of a kid that works hard to help his team succeed.
Talk about writing for the brand, coach. Let's talk about a little bit off the court academically. Your academics has been a strong, very strong for your program. You've had 5 NAI scholar teams. You've had ABCA All American team, even a CSE academic award. How intentional is the academic standard within your program's culture?
Yeah, I think a lot of us volleyball coaches are pretty spoiled
Yeah,
with the type of student athletes that we get. For the most part, I believe volleyball is pretty intelligent sport.
yeah,
Um, so again, with that, I give all the credit to our guys that are working hard in the classroom. Um, Now we do have, at every school, and Missouri Baptist is one of them, that we do have, the mandatory study halls in place for our student athletes that might be struggling with classes. We have all the academic advisors that are there to help. the athletic advisors that are there to help. We have a SSC, which is our Student Success Center. But now, so with those highly intelligent guys, it's kind of cool. We also have the opportunity for them to kind of be peer tutors.
Hmm.
So it's cool to kind of have that for our high achieving guys. Um, but yeah, it's cool to see those older guys that can also, help the younger guys. So it's a really great part of our campus. And again, I kind of give the credit to the guys that are working, give the credit to Missouri Baptist and, our Student Success Center.
No, that's pretty cool for those that need it and that don't need it, and those that may not can also give back to those student athletes that were in their shoes before, and that's a pretty cool a little insight about Missouri Baptist, coach. But let's talk a little bit about you, and you've served on the NAI level, you've been on the committee, you've been on the oversight committee, you've also right now you're a Raider for your region. That's just talks about how much more you have on your plate. But being in all those different type of roles, how has that shaped your perspective as a head coach?
Sure, yeah. And if there are any younger coaches on here listening to this, I would definitely encourage you to get involved in these committees. I'm a firm believer that, these committees they're just a great way to show you how everything works, whether it be at, an NAI level or any level. Um, I think we can look at it and we can always say, all right, when we're on these committees and we can say, how can we make this better? How can we help our student athletes? Just, again, how can we make it better? And we have a lot of great coaches that have been on these committees. And they're continuing just to try to make the game better. And I think it is, again, a great thing to be on those committees and look at the NAI leadership and, kind of look at the big picture of what we're doing.
For sure, coach. And volleyball as a viewpoint nationally, it's one of the fastest growing sports. You got Indiana Wesleyan that just got a men's team. You have Hastings who's now competing. You got Spring Arbor. You got people from all over the NAI that is now growing and adding that team as a part of their competitions on the institution wise. What excites you about the current state of NAI and men's volleyball?
Yeah, yeah, I would have to say it is that growth, that you're kind of talking about there. Um, Not only at the NAI level, but I also love to look at the growth that we've had at the youth level.
Mm,
At the high school level, seeing how many states now sanction high school boys volleyball,
hmm
seeing how many club teams there are. It's just really cool to see all that growth. And when we see that growth at that younger level, we're going to see the growth at the NAI level.
Yep.
Uh, I mean, I can think back to when I was playing here at MBU. Um, we maybe had 20 teams playing in the NAIA.
Wow.
So it's really cool to now see where we're, floating between that 65 to 70 range every year. So again, yeah, it's just really cool to see all that growth.
No, and before you know it, it's going to be every school's going to have it just like they had women's volleyball, and it's going to be great to see, coach. But let's talk about your journey. Before Missouri Baptist, you were at St. Elizabeth's Academy, you were also at CBC High School, and you even served as an athletics director, earlier in your career. Those experiences have been very valuable to you and where you're at now. And, how does that prepare you to lead that Missouri Baptist? What have you taken from those experiences?
Yeah, those experiences were great. You really get a good base of volleyball at all those different levels. And I can definitely take a little bit of everything from every team that I've had. And that can really help me lead the program that we have today. I mean, I can even think back to coaching, seventh and eighth grade volleyball when I was a student athlete at Missouri Baptist. Just every one of those little experiences from the, grade school, high school, college level, club level. You can take all those experiences and really put them into what you do every day for a full-time job every day. It's really cool. I also like to throw in there that I've refed some volleyball.
Really?
Yeah, and I think
Should.
every coach should have that experience. You just to get to kind of see the game from a different view. It just really gives you a great perspective of the game. And I think that has, that helps with your coaching and with trying to help your players to succeed. And yeah, it's a great viewpoint.
Yeah, love to hear that, Coach. All those experiences are very valuable and to where you're at now. And I know we talked about you being in year 7, but you also played at Missouri Baptist. You got your grad degree there, so it's more than 7 seasons if you want to add in undergrad, grad school, all that good stuff, Coach. But obviously, you're an alum of Missouri Baptist. You played there, but what does it mean to personally lead and run your alma mater?
Yeah, this place, I mean, it means the world to me. It's a really special place. I tell recruits that, all the time. When I stepped on campus, I really got the feel that it is home. Um, and I think that's because of the people, good Christian people, that care about you. I also tell recruits. I plan on being here for their 4 years and longer. Um, I'm a St. Louis guy. My wife's family's from here. My brother played volleyball here as well with me. We have 3 children here. So I don't plan on leaving Missouri Baptist. So it's reassuring to tell, recruits and families, that, I plan on being here for their 4 or 5 years or, even longer.
For those recruits, I'm sure that is very reassuring knowing that, you also trust Missouri Baptist, not because you worked there, but because you've been there, you played there, you earned your degrees from there, coach. But when somebody that may not ever been to a Missouri Baptist game or doesn't know much about it, when they see y'all play a match, what's the first thing you want those fans or outside people looking in to notice about your team?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people, the first thing they see is they're gonna be like, this is fast.
Hmm.
And that's just not here at Missouri Baptist. That's a lot of men's volleyball.
For sure.
That the game's fast. Now this isn't a hot take. Everyone knows the women's volleyball game has been booming the last few years, which is
No doubt.
great to see games, on the ESPN networks and on ABC and that kind of stuff. So it's great to see that. But I want everybody to look at the men's game, and to MBU and say they have some great athletes that are working hard, playing the game the way it should be played. And I really do think that growth is going to continue.
You talked about the love and rich tradition there at Missouri Baptist, but for recruits and families who may not know Missouri Baptist in general, why should they put MBU on their radar?
Yeah, you should put Missouri Baptist University on your radar because you're gonna get a great education. You're gonna be able to play at a great level after high school. And you're going to be around those great Christian people that care about you. Kind of talked about that before. Just good people on campus. It's a good place to study. Like I said, it's a good place to play volleyball. And yeah, you're just gonna be around those great Christian people. We're again located in St. Louis here. It's a great city. We have everything you need right here. It's really cool to be that close to things that you need. We'll go to some universities and it's just not the same. So again, for me, it goes back to stepping on foot and just kind of falling in love with the university and feeling home.
For sure. And then a little quick follow up about that, what kind of student athlete thrives in your program?
Yeah, we touched on it a little bit earlier, but I would say it's a student athlete that is ready to work,
Hmm.
right? They're ready to work hard. The season is a grind. And now we're getting ready to start up here, so everyone's excited, to get out there and everybody's energetic. But yeah, you'll get later in the season where it's definitely a grind, and you gotta grind day in and day out. And so I think it's those student athletes that are just ready to work. They're ready to compete.
Coach, the demands of volleyball is very, very heavily. We talked about all the committees that you're on. You're also the director of volleyball. So you have a lot of hats that you wear at Missouri Baptist for the volleyball programs. But what are some ways that you recharge and rewind? Now, I know season's on the rise, but pretend the season had just ended. What is Coach Tom Young going to do to kind of gather himself back and get ready for that next season?
Yeah, well, I'll say over the break, this holiday break, it was a lot of family time,
Yeah.
which is good. Um, I like to spend a lot of time with them before the season starts because yeah, it's going to get busy here in a couple weeks. Um, Summertime, I like to golf. I'm not very good. My friends will
Same.
tell you.
Yeah,
But no, it's an enjoyable hobby to be outdoors, playing some golf in the summer. Um, but really, those relationships that we have here at Missouri Baptist too with our student athletes really energizes me. So it makes me ready to get back in the gym and ready to work for our team and to hopefully see all the success that can come.
for sure. Coach, it's been an honor having you on, and I appreciate you making some time for me. But before we go, where can we find Missouri Baptist men's volleyball and Coach Young on social media?
Yeah, thanks, Danny. It was great being here, and like we said, kind of trying to grow NAI men's volleyball as much as we can. Our Instagram for the men's page, it's MBU Volleyball, and then our women's account is actually MBUW Volleyball. So yeah, you can find both programs there, and yeah, give us a follow.
Yeah, well, I know I follow them well, and you guys do a phenomenal job. Your SID department is absolutely outrageous, and they create some good work, Coach. But for everybody watching, make sure you follow the NAI Volley Report on all social media: X, Threads, TikTok, Instagram, anything you could think of at the NAI Volley Report. Coach, thank you again for your time, and I'll see you on that first serve on the 22nd.
All right, thank you, Danny.
Thanks, Coach.